Don't ever forget.
Don't ever forget that on Sunday morning, December 26, 2004, nearly 230,000 people died in the Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, also known as the Christmas or Boxing Day tsunami, making it one of the deadliest disasters in modern history. Boxing Day is a holiday celebrated by giving gifts to the poor after Christmas Day. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami occurred the day after Christmas and therefore has been referred to as the Boxing Day tsunami. The magnitude 9.1 earthquake ruptured a 900-mile stretch of fault line where the Indian tectonic plate and the Burma microplate, part of the Australian plate, meet. It was a powerful megathrust quake occurring when a heavy ocean plate slips under a lighter continental plate. Within 15 minutes, the massive earthquake struck off the west coast of Sumatra, Indonesia. The epicenter was 30 kilometers under the seabed and approximately 250 kilometers south to southwest of Banda Aceh, the hardest hit region of Indonesia. Few residents of the densely populated area realized that the earthquake they had felt could cause a tsunami, and there was little time to flee to higher ground. The earthquake generated a series of towering waves that could travel at 80 kilometers per hour in shallow water, with the largest impact felt in Indonesia and Sri Lanka. In the 9 hours following the earthquake, 14 aftershocks with magnitudes between 5.7 and 7.3 occurred along the arc of Sumatra towards Nicobar and the Andaman Islands. An hour later, they reached the Maldives, and more than 7 hours after the initial quake, the tsunami was observed in Mauritius and along the east coast of Africa. With no warning, coastal populations were caught by the pounding waves. Many families that made their living through fishing lost everything. Whole communities were wiped out by the tsunami. The waves caused widespread death and injuries, displaced thousands, destroyed towns, homes, livelihoods, infrastructure, and wrecked coastal areas. Due to the scale of the destruction, estimates of total lives lost vary. According to the United Nations, approximately 227,000 people were killed in 14 countries. Data published by the Tsunami Evaluation Coalition indicated that at least 275,000 people were killed. Across the region, there are still people believed to have been swept away who have never been accounted for. Measured in lives lost, makes it one of the 10 worst earthquakes in recorded history and the single worst tsunami in history. The worst affected countries were India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Maldives, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and the Seychelles, Thailand, and Somalia. Financial losses in the Maldives represented approximately 45% of its GDP or gross domestic product, while Indonesia suffered $4.5 billion in economic losses, representing the entire GDP of the Aceh province. The overall financial impact on the Indonesian economy lowered the projected growth by approximately 0.2% in 2005. Indonesia lies between the Pacific Ring of Fire, where 90% of earthquakes occur, and the second most active seismic zone, the Alpide Belt. The Indian Ocean earthquake's magnitude was measured between 9.1 and 9.3, making it the third most powerful quake since the 1900s. In the worst affected areas, the quake's intensity rated 9 on the Mercalli scale, the second highest rating possible. So, the quake caused violent shaking and extensive damage to even well-built buildings. Since the 2004 tsunami, governments and aid groups have prioritized disaster risk reduction and preparedness. Only 3 weeks after the tsunami, representatives of the 168 nations agreed to the Hyogo Framework for Action, which paved the way for global cooperation for disaster risk reduction. Since then, ocean floor earthquake sensors have been installed to trigger early warnings, and many local communities have been trained in evacuation and disaster response. Don't ever forget that, and also don't ever forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Don't ever forget